Hello and welcome to this edition of the Time with Hime podcast. I'm your host, Lynn Cordish, joined by Superintendent Hime. We have some gorgeous weather right now.
It's unreal. Hey, we get a few of these days. Last day of September.
Crazy.
Can you believe it's October?
No. Lots of great things, lots of
our
moving
kids are
parts.
doing great. Our teachers are doing great. Our administration, our bus drivers, cooks, everything is going really well. This big shout out to all of our employees for how they've made this a great start to the year and some of the changes coming in, and it's exciting. We worry about safety, but our fences and secure entries are all close to working order. And then to see our new locker rooms that are predominantly for our girls' athletics, it's going to be so great. I mean, as a parent of young ladies,
I'm excited.
You should be excited to know that they're going to have some really nice locker room space that we've kind of shorted our female athletes on in the past, and we're excited about that.
It's nice to be outside and see that they're going to have a concession stand and bathroom too,
yes.
in addition to that,
well,
right there with the athletic turf. In the areas.
Everybody loves so much using the facility on their place. They love their junior high games there. They're loving their JV. It's just exciting when that gets finished, and when we play soccer, they're going to have their own. It's going to be like playing a home game.
A real home game.
Yep, and
Absolutely.
I think everybody will be excited. And the football coaches have already talked about trying to find a way to play some of their lower attendance games for the visitors at those sites next year. So I'm really looking forward to games that are truly home games for some of the sites.
It's wonderful. And we've had 2 weeks already of parent-teacher conferences.
Yes.
This is our last week for the high school.
Yes.
And so that's, Tuesday and Thursday. If you are not tracking, check your social media and website pages for more information. But tomorrow, October 1, we love in education hearing October 1 because that means deadlines.
Paperwork and deadlines. Paperwork and deadlines.
Yes.
Well, October 1st is a huge day because it's the day where the counts are solidified. And so anyone enrolled that day, we get to count them as far as their paperwork. So we're going to be, for the next few days, even after October 1, we will be working fast and furiously to make sure we get our income surveys in. Now that we're CEP, we don't have free and reduced forms, we do an income survey. We've talked a lot about that our teachers do such a great job of collecting those forms, and they count towards state aid, that it's one of the big reasons we've been able to give our retention bonus and our Christmas or stipend bonus. And so we're really excited about that. So you're going to see that as a parent. If you feel like you've already filled it out and they send you another one, please just fill it out and send it back. Just know that the more people that qualify, the more money we get as a school district from the state aid side. Therefore, it allows us to do those bonuses. Same thing with the impact aid form. We will keep sending those out to get them perfect and hoping we get all that right. We got GT, so we're testing kids all over the district for gifted and talented. Our special ed counts get solidified this week. So there's just a lot going on. And then we're also sending out the impact aid form.
Yes, and I will just remind our families that every student of yours will come home with an impact aid form, and every form will have to be filled out because that's just how the requirements are. We have to have one, not one per family, but one per child.
Again, this is a huge, impact aid is what people call a PILT, a payment in lieu of taxes. Mm-hmm. So basically, by collecting these forms, the federal government gives us money to offset the fact they don't pay property taxes on their land. And we don't want our military to pay property taxes, obviously, because we love our military and love what they do. But this PILT, we get the money in lieu of the taxes we would have lost. So it's very important again. So paperwork and getting forms in for Lawton Public Schools is double important because we have the low income surveys, we have the EL forms, the home language surveys, and then now we have the impact aid. So we have three major forms that drive a lot of our economic forecast. And as we budget for the next year, it's going to be based a lot upon what those forms look like coming in this year.
Right, and the impact aid does impact the military, but also federal property that
we
have.
Yes, in our native tribal lands.
Correct.
And yes, very much a lot of that stuff. So there's a lot to it, and just bear with us because, again, we have 14,000 students. We send those home, we get them back, we send them home. Sometimes we may send you another one erroneously, but just fill it out again. And if you put different numbers on them the two different times, don't stress over that. It's a form we have to use.
Correct.
And I think we're the only ones that see those, basically.
Yes, we don't. We
don't have to send those.
Nope, we just scan them.
Just our people in our office. I don't even see those.
Right.
So
you're right.
Yep.
Okay, another thing that's coming up is homecoming. We have 2 really big homecomings this week.
Yes.
Thursday and Friday, and then next week.
Yeah, like Thursday is Lawton High and Friday is Lawton Eisenhower. So those are always fun times, the homecomings. And it is football season, and it is getting to be football weather.
Yeah, sweater
and
weather.
If you didn't watch, we only had 2 games this weekend in football. Lawton Eisenhower played Stillwater, who I think is ranked 1 or 2 in Class 6A2. It was a good game for a while. I think it was on the road, and I think it was better than some people expected. And I got to watch part of that, and the kids played. You can see a lot of great improvement in our Eisenhower young men, and so big shout out to them for continuing to get better every week. And that was the same. And then Lawton played Noble, and that was a great game. Came down to the end, and Lawton High got a pick 6. Everybody watched OU this weekend. They call it a kip 6 now. Well, Lawton High got a pick 6 in that game that turned the game around and got a big win for that group. And I believe that was the first game of district, so that was huge for them to get off to that start in their district game. So big shout out to Lawton High. They're 1-0 in 5A. Looking good. Homecoming this week.
Yes.
So that'll be a big night for both of those teams. So get out and support both of your teams. It'll also be dress-up days and all the activities at the schools. Homecoming's a lot of fun, but remember, it's about the kids, not about the adults. And in the past, we've had a few issues, and 99% of the time, it concerns people that aren't part of the school.
And we would like it to remain kid-friendly,
yes,
no matter what happens.
The kids. Let the kids have their fun just like they let us have our fun when we were that age.
Yes, sir. And then after next week, which next week we have MacArthur's homecoming, we have the big week of fall break.
Yeah, and people always ask, why do you take a week for fall break? Well, I can explain it like this. You started this conversation talking about how we were wrapping up parent-teacher conferences. Well, our teachers, instead of having parent-teacher conferences during the day, we have them at night. So we have 2 nights of parent-teacher conferences that equal a full day, is 2 half days for our teachers. Well, on the calendar somewhere, we give them a day off to replace working those 2 nights. So that's 1 day. Fall break has always been 2 days, so that makes 3. Well, prior to I got here, a committee of Lawton educators got together and were looking at the calendar, and they discovered that Columbus Day, Indigenous People Day, depending on how you celebrate it, but it's the same day, was the highest absentee day in the district in the past years. So we started taking that off, so that's 4 days. If we put them all in the same week and just take 1 more day, we get a full week for fall break. And it's been really good for our staff and even our families to take that full week off, because it's a time everybody can go visit, everybody can reboot and and basically you come back starting the second 9 weeks. So it's kind of a quarter break too. And so it's a great time for that, and we're excited about that. It works out really good for us, but just kind of explaining how we do it. It's not that we've added 3 days off, and that's a different thing in calendars now, that people used to say, well, these are the days we don't go to school. Really, legally, we have to go to school so many days. By law, you have to meet your kids face-to-face 158 days or virtually, and we have 170 days. So we're way over the number. And then we have 165 days we meet in our 5 parent-teacher conference days, and then we usually have 5 virtual professional development days that count as well, and our 2 parent-teacher conference, So it adds up. Yes.
All that to say, happy fall break, you
yes.
guys. We know you're
there's a lot, but
that.
just to understand, we are going more than we have to go. Our teachers are doing, they're meeting and exceeding the state requirement for the number of hours and minutes, because we're on an hours.
But that helps too
schedule.
when we have virtual days for any known reason.
So if we get snow or whatever, we can go
Ice
virtual, and we have plenty of time built in. So yes, very excited about that.
All right, Mr. Hime, let's give them our email and website.
If you got questions or you want somebody on the podcast, it's info@lawtonps.org. Our website is lawtonps.org.
All right. Anything else you want to celebrate,
Nope.
share? We've got 1 more week next week, and this week is going to be fast and furious because of homecoming and a lot of forms that we're doing district-wide. But
next week, we should have some students on.
Yes, we're going to surprise you next week with a great bunch of kids. We can't wait. Other than that, you guys, we wish you well, be safe, make positive impacts, and we'll see you then. Have a good one.